The nice celebrity is an oxymoron. You rarely get to the top of an industry built on ego, competition, and performance by being genuinely, consistently kind to everyone around you. Sure, there's a few people who have bucked this trend over the years, but even then, certain moments offer a glimpse into their other side. Like when a TikToker walked up to John Cena in a cafe and started singing at him.
Hello, how you doing? Nice to meet you, I'm John. Would you like to sing now?
Yes.
For what purpose?
For what purpose? Okay, so John Cena has been probably at the forefront of people just coming up to him in public and just annoying the shit out of him. And he's had enough. He's had enough. Bless him. Okay, nice to meet you. Would you like to sing now? For what purpose?
Because I sing to everyone.
Okay, I'm not buying what you're saying. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone reacted with something like, "This is the first time I've ever seen John Cena get pissed outside of the wrestling ring." Of course, they also said he was completely justified to get annoyed at someone
He didn't exactly get pissed. He just said, nah, I'm good, thanks.
expecting him to play
He could have said F off.
For the most part, it is a good thing that the internet puts celebrity behavior under the microscope instead of them getting a free pass for everything. And sometimes, unlike for John, the wisdom of the crowd declares that the behavior is not just
Are we saying that that's somebody getting pissed off in today's day and age? Like, I mean, if the guy got pissed off, then I mean he would have pushed him, punched him, swore at him. I don't know.
justified at all. Sometimes it's plain awful, entitled, and judgmental in the worst way, and inflicts
Corden's
real
a
damage
weird one,
on
isn't it?
multiple people. The singer Chappelle Rowan found that out the hard way. At a concert in Brazil, a security guard was aggressive towards the family of Jorginho, the football player. His wife and 11-year-old daughter were having breakfast at the same hotel as the singer, when this guard came over and started speaking in an extremely aggressive manner and threatened to file a complaint against them. The kid was in tears. Quote, "A large security guard came over to their table while they were still having breakfast and began speaking in an extremely aggressive manner to both my wife and daughter. The child's mother is Catherine Harding and her father is the actor Jude Law. So Jorginho is the stepfather." The security guard turned out to be Pascal Duvier, who was previously Kim Kardashian's bodyguard, the same guy who was named in a $6 million lawsuit after the Kardashians' Paris robbery. So he's not exactly a savory character. Chappelle then responded with her own social media posts, giving her account of the interaction. She said she didn't see a woman and child, that nobody approached her, and that the guard wasn't part of her security team. So she apologized to the family.
I do not hate people who are fans of my music. I do not hate children. Like, that is crazy.
But by then, the weirder
Is that what people were saying? I mean, this video is supposed to be about celebrities in Hollywood. Are they nice? Are they not? This is about security guard. Can we move
Janeiro
on?
Mayor had already banned her from performing in a city, calling her out on social media and invited Jorginho's daughter as a guest of honor
Oh, so
to a
they're
future
blaming her,
event. On its own, the Brazil incident might have blown over, but Chappelle had already been building a reputation as one of the most divisive new stars in music, and it had started months earlier. Back in August 2024, right as she was blowing up, she posted a two-part TikTok that split the internet. In it, she asked fans to imagine a random woman on the street. Would you yell at her from a car? Would you stalk her family? Would you demand a photo and get angry when she says no? Basically, she was telling her fans to stay away from her. It got 12 million views in a matter of days, and then the comments turned off. A few days later, she posted a longer statement explaining that she'd had too many non-consensual physical and social interactions. Then on the Call Her Daddy podcast, she said all of my friends who have kids are in hell, and that none of them have light in their eyes, which enraged most people at how nihilistic and naive such a comment could be.
Wow.
All of my friends who have kids are in hell. I actually don't know anyone who's like happy and has children at this age. I have like 1-year-old,
Is she
like 3-year-old,
serious?
4 and under, 5 and under. I literally have not met anyone who's happy, anyone who has like light in their eyes, anyone who has slept.
So by the time the Brazil incident happened,
I mean, come on. She's doing that for views, right?
the ground
Surely.
was already shaking.
She's doing it for
Whether it's just a
views.
story of an ego gone
That ain't-
haywire,
that ain't
or
real,
just
is
a
it?
series of misunderstandings that fed a narrative nobody could control.
She's joking,
Every
right?
new incident makes the next one harder to survive. And you'd think someone with more experience, more fame, more goodwill in the bank would be better insulated from that kind of thing. But even then, it's so often the case that behavior inside of the celebrity bubble is perceived completely differently by the public. Everyone knows Pedro Pascal and how his actions saw his reputation.
So this is the thing where it's like, you know, you can't, if your intentions are bad, you and you're in the limelight, you won't be able to hide it. Maybe for a year, maybe for 2, maybe for 5, maybe for 10 years. I don't know. If you stay back, eventually your side is going to come out and everyone's going to see who you are. Like, I'm not in Hollywood. I am in the film industry, but a very small part of it. But we hear stories of the celebrities in Hollywood, and there is a massive bunch that are just really not nice. And that's not coming from me because I haven't personally met these people, but I mean, the stories that I've heard, oh my. But that's what I'm saying. You cannot hide it. If that is just the way that you are in those your intentions, it's gonna come out, man. It's gonna come out. You can pretend to be nice. You can. But you can't fake it.
Flip from national treasure to every move being dissected and analysed. It started during the Fantastic Four press tour. Him and Vanessa Kirby were close on camera, holding hands and touching each other's necks, and for the outsider observer, it looked weird because no one you know has a good reason to behave like this. Then a clip from Willem Dafoe's Walk of Fame ceremony resurfaced, with Pascal placing his hand on Dafoe's wife's chin, stroking it, and standing right in front of Dafoe while doing it. Dafoe's expression visibly changes and he looks repulsed. Pedro had no choice but to face up to the publicity swirling around him and told the press that he tends to rely on others physically when he's anxious. But somehow, he's the only guy in the world who can touch people inappropriately when he's not feeling 100%. Which is the celebrity bubble in a nutshell. You get away with behavior the rest of us could never. In early 2026, he was then spotted with a new male partner whose political views really didn't line up with Pascal's very public activism. So he just started blocking fans who brought it up and major fan pages shut down. All while he goes on to preach about his family fleeing as refugees from Chile, when apparently they were known as dangerous political activists who were later accused of stealing fertility patients' eggs.
I didn't hear that. Was that an alleged boyfriend, or has he got a boyfriend? I didn't know that Pedro was openly gay, or is that not a thing? I didn't know. I thought he was married with kids. Just carry on. Sorry, I'm out of the picture. I'm out of it. I'm out of the hoo-ha way.
Embryos and implanting them in other women without their knowledge and consent. Now, is Pedro Pascal secretly a bad person? Well, there's no way to know. But the image the internet built around him was specific and idolized. Something more like a business than a person. He's being put in every movie really suspiciously. Just like Oprah and The Rock, who are literally creating business empires around their core selves to the point that their true self virtually doesn't exist anymore. It's an infernal contract some gladly accept for fame. Though other times, it's not entirely the individual's fault, but instead an image the industry built for them when they were young, naive, or craved success too much to slow down and think about what was really happening. And nowhere has that happened more than in the Disney empire. But before we continue, this video is sponsored by...
Oh, thank you.
Film that should never be remade. So whoever played the role had to convince the world it was worth doing anyway. Instead, in interview after interview, Zegler seemed to actively dismiss the original.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Yeah. Weird.
The enthusiasm felt performative rather than genuine, and she just rubbed off on people as severely annoying.
Love that. I'm obsessed. Oh my god.
So nice of you to say.
Yeah, and what dream?
And it didn't help her case when she straight up called herself a narcissist as if this is some sort of trendy Hollywood buzzword.
It's crazy that we're in front of this.
Wait, how often are you in line for the Snow White ride?
I'm a narcissist.
And then she said she was happy to get the DC Comics job in Shazam! Fury of the Gods because she just needed a job.
Made you want to step into this world of DC heroes? I needed a job. I'm being so serious. I mean, a lot of people keep asking me. Hi, Adam.
We have a young woman who's 15 seconds into her career saying, oh yeah, I just did it because I needed the money. It's like, listen, to be in this industry...
Oh my god, do you know what? When it comes to stuff like this, that is going to infuriate so many people. Not only fans of DC, but other actors and actresses that are working so freaking hard in this industry. And she just says, yeah, Needed the job, needed the money. Oh my God. Even if she is joking, it's just the cockiness of it. Just shut up!
It's not a right, it's a privilege.
While some of her supporters would accuse this of cherry-picking evidence against her, it did become clear that Disney was trying to build a persona and sell it to the public, and the public wasn't buying it.
Nah.
Which then spiraled out of control when Zegler posted, quote, "and always remember Free Palestine," which Disney hated, with her later posting made Trump supporters never know peace. Disney reportedly paid to vet her post before the film's release. Days later, she then posted a very carefully corporate-worded apology.
It's because of an anti-Donald Trump post she made after the election, writing, quoting here, "May Trump supporters and Trump voters and Trump himself never know peace." Ziegler is now apologizing. She writes in a new post, let my emotions get the best of me, and I am sorry, contributed to the negative discourse.
This is the thing. I just needed the money. Surely the contracts were signed way before, because we've seen this before, right? You will do 10 movies for this company, this company, this company, this company, this company. You will make us money, right? I thought that was a thing in the top. You know, maybe that's what she meant. She signed the contract way before. We don't know.
Questions about what Disney could do next with all this controversy surrounding the star of the show, the Snow White adaptation, and spending a whopping, you guys, $270 million to make it.
Zegler is entitled to her views, but it's still pretty hard to go along with her even if you sympathize with what she's saying, as fame is a flimsy platform for political activism, and using it for that purpose often backfires all the time. She put some half of America in one bucket because she had the privilege and platform to get away with it. It wasn't well articulated or founded in anything intellectually robust. Meanwhile, Disney, a company that apparently represents everyone, simply couldn't bear any impact to their meticulously managed image. So it was a big loss all around. The film cost somewhere between $250 and $270 million to make, earning only $200 million worldwide. And bear in mind, to break even, it needed $500 million, and they didn't even get halfway. Some saw it as a failed film, others as a failed ideological project. Either way, and ironically enough, given Zegler's own comments, it really is because it isn't the 1930s that Disney's woke propaganda pipeline isn't firing in the same way that it used to. Her situation is mostly about a corporation failing to build a convincing image for someone and then failing to reconcile itself. The much darker version is when the celebrity builds the image themselves deliberately over years and then gets caught using it as a weapon against those they're supposed to care about the most. Jonah Hill spent the best part of a decade constructing one of the most carefully maintained public identities in Hollywood. As both a comedy actor and a comedian in his own right, maybe it was to be expected that he'd become the butt of the joke. But you could still tell that it got under his skin sometimes. Anyone with a spine would get annoyed if they were treated like this in interviews.
Jonah, do you think it's important to be unattractive to be funny?
He got this a lot.
Can skinny people be funny?
Are you still considered the fat guy when you go to a party or anything? Because I run into that a whole lot. I'm the fat one. So are you the fat guy in Hollywood still, or is everybody like look at you and they're like, oh wow, you know, this is great, now you're healthy?
Do you have any other questions?
Meanwhile,
sorry, that is such an immature, douchey thing to say. Trying to be funny. The thing is, these journalists or junkets or whatever these things are, they know that this is going to get on his tits, literally. I jest. They know that it's going to piss him off. They know it. That's why they ask it, because they want the views. It's all for views now. It's sad. Like, you're freaking hurting someone's feelings, man. Don't speak like that. Don't no. Just fucking do better. Do better. I hate that, because you see him, he's sort of wincing in real pain. Like, yeah, of course he was overweight and he used it to his advantage in the comedy, the beginning of
when
his
Jonah did
career,
lash out himself, he was quick to apologize. In 2014, Jonah responded to harassing paparazzi with a homophobic slur. Soon, with the Hollywood vultures looking to cancel him, he went on Jimmy Fallon to apologize, and he did seem legitimately guilty and hurt by what he had done.
In response, I wanted to hurt him back, and I said the most hurtful word that I could think of at that moment. And, I didn't mean this in the sense of the word. You know, I didn't mean it in a homophobic way.
Considering the circumstances and the fact that it was his first real public controversy, most people were perfectly willing to cut in some slack, with Todd comments reading, "Jonah Hill is more of a man than most people in show business will ever be. He chose his words very wisely and he was sincere through and through." Since then though, social media has made things more grey. Jonah had a generational glow up, losing weight and finding success as a serious actor in films like The Wolf of Wall Street and Moneyball. He also spent years building a public image as a mental health advocate, co-creating a documentary with his own psychiatrist and often talking about therapy in his public appearances.
No, like, I'm a really sensitive person and people are sensitive and that shit hurts. And so for me, it's important to tell kids, like,
there you go, man.
Yo, like, you don't have to take that shit. If you're hurting, the only people who are mean are people that are hurting
the industry.
Hurt people. And it's like a really corny saying, but it's true. It's like, I've never said a mean word in my life when I'm happy with myself.
In August 2022, he published an...
He's on the same level with Shia LaBeouf. Do you know what I mean? That sort of level of...
experiencing anxiety attacks, which are exacerbated by media appearances and public-facing events. He said he wouldn't promote stunts or any feature films. He also publicly asked people to stop commenting on his body. "I kindly ask that you do not ask me about my body. Good or bad, it's not helpful and doesn't feel good." It was a powerful statement and his co-stars supported him. The public respected it too. Here was a man practicing what he preached, doing the therapy, setting the boundaries, walking the walk. But in 2023, Jonah Hill then found himself and his therapy talk in the spotlight for a completely different reason. In a series of Instagram posts, his ex-girlfriend Sarah Brady, a professional surfer, posted screenshots of their messages and publicly called him out for being abusive. The most telling screenshot showed a list of what Jonah allegedly called his boundaries, which included not surfing with men, modeling, posting pictures of herself in a bathing suit, or having friendships with women who are in unstable places and form your wild recent past. Look at posts like this, which are clearly uncomfortably aggressive. People called him out for weaponizing therapy talk and for expecting a professional surfer not to post pictures in a swimming costume or to do anything related to her job at all. The irony was devastating.
I'm sorry, I don't think that's what he was saying. I don't know the full extent of what this is, but I somewhat back that. Like, come on, if you're going to be respectful and you're going to be in a relationship with me, then I don't want you posting pictures in a bathing suit with other men. I don't want you going on day trips or dates with other men, surfing, doing whatever you're doing. Yeah, friends, cool, whatever. But we're in a relationship now. Let's have a little bit of respect. I back that. I really do back that. And that was this. I mean, the narrator here, I think it's just twisted that slightly, but you know, I don't know the full context of it. So.
The man who made a documentary about his therapist, who publicly quit doing press for his mental health, who positioned himself as this enlightened figure, was now using the same therapeutic language to isolate and control his partner. Boundaries went from being his brand to being his tool to inflict.
Let's have a look at this. If you need surfing with men, boundaryless, inappropriate friendships with men to model. Okay, that's a little extreme to model, but if he is, I mean, look, let's look at a religious reason for that. That would be, come on, it's purely disrespectful and sinful in a way that you are sharing your body with other men, people. To post pictures of yourself in a bathing suit, okay, she's a surfer, I get it. To post sexual pictures, yes. Friendships with women who are in unstable places and from your wild recent past, beyond getting a lunch or coffee or something respectful, again, the word. I'm not the right partner for you. If these things bring you to a place of happiness, I will support it, and there will be no hard feelings. These are my boundaries for romantic partnership. My boundaries with you, based on the way these actions have hurt our trust. I'm sorry. This, and for her to share that really does just demonstrate how disrespectful she is to somebody who she was in a relationship with. This happens all the time. This stuff happens all the time. But I don't know. I think that's, given the circumstances of the conversation, this could have been right at the end of loads of things happening after he's kindly said, look, do you mind not doing that? Because it kind of hurts me. It makes me a little bit insecure that you're not being respectful to me in my relationship. We don't know. It's not like you will not do this, you will not do that, you will not do this. He's clearly and politely, very politely saying, look, if this is what your hobbies and your interests are, then I don't think I can sort of live with that whilst being in a relationship. Fucking hell. I'm sorry. Shoot me down if you think that that's inappropriate or unreasonable. I don't know. What do we think? Comments, please.
The very damage he warned people about. Sarah posted herself, I think fame can put people into an echo chamber of viewpoints, which can enable emotionally abusive behavior. As the news broke, others chimed in with their own stories about meeting him. Like this.
Would it not be the same the other way round if it was her asking him, if he was a model, if he was surfing with his junk hanging out and with other girls and at parties, if she was to ask, would that be inappropriate?
Meant from a Reddit post about the situation. Quote, having met and interacted with him a while after Superbad, I am not surprised. He's a totally unlikable prick. This kind of off-camera celebrity behavior mismatch isn't unique to Jonah Hill. It's one of the most common ways famous people expose their true colors. Jennifer Lopez is the archetype in this department, launching her public-facing persona using her own heritage and background as her identity. Her first album on the Six was named after the subway line that goes to the Bronx and her childhood neighborhood. Her most prolific song, Jenny from the Block, is all about how she's still the same person she was before the fame. But she's now done immense damage to that image. Today we know that she has a rule with her staff that they aren't allowed to look her in the eye. There are stories that her drivers can't even look in the rearview mirror without her shouting at them. She's also infamous for not tipping waiters and servers, even allegedly taking back a generous $10,000 tip that her husband left at the time. Other TV personalities have also spoken at length about their feelings on her too.
I actually feel bad right now because I feel like we're turning a point where there's like bullying happening to J-Lo, and I don't want to add to that. She just is a deeply unpleasant person and had I said this on the fork, she had the biggest entourage I've ever seen, like of a celebrity, more than Kim Kardashian and more than the president. Like I've never seen, and I just don't really understand why it was needed. I already said this, it has 2 million views on TikTok.
I mean, does that make her a very unpleasant person? And that's the first thing she goes for is the size of her entourage? Like, I don't know.
Myself anymore. But why are you looking like that? J-Lo does not have a reputation for being a nice, normal person.
But you can't really.
So you've just said that she's an unpleasant person. Then you go for an example that her entourage was too large for her relevance, or whatever you want to call it, and then said what she's got a reputation for. So you're going on stories, mate, you're going on stories, you're fucking clueless.
Really trust her words that much. But people who have nothing to gain from
I am a massive advocate
angering such a powerful
if you witnessed it, cool. If you didn't, take it with a pinch of salt.
Encounter between Jennifer Lopez and someone being paid to serve her, where a flight attendant asked, what can I get you to drink?
Like somebody
and
once
J-Lo
said to me
refused.
that Chris Hemsworth is an absolute nightmare to work with, and he's an unpleasant guy, and I clearly just said, well, he might have been having a bad day. He might have been 22 days into a 27-day shoot and absolutely f***ed because he's worked 20 hours a day, 18 hours a day. He's probably not eating a lot of food because he's got to be really ripped for his role, whatever it is. Give the guy, cut the guy some slack. Yeah, okay, if he's going around hitting people, yeah, cool. But if he was just a little bit rude, get off your high horse. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's a bit rude sometimes when they're not having a great day. If you witnessed it, cool. But that person who told me didn't even witness it. They said that their mate saw that their mate said, shut up, nah. When you meet him, you make your own judgments. You know what I mean?
To even acknowledge her. She described how she turned her head away and told her personal assistant, please tell him I'd like a Diet Coke. She wouldn't even look at me, it was sad. She seemed so sweet in her movies. And there are tons of stories like this surrounding her, and anyone sane would describe it as utterly indefensible since kindness is free and she of all people doesn't need to give away much to make people's day. Now whenever her name is mentioned online, it seems like a new horror story comes out. Famous people obviously have to have boundaries with fans, and years of fame can make even the nicest people wary about their public interactions. But when ego gets involved, these boundaries can clearly spiral out of control. Eventually, you've got celebrities thinking they're so superior that people shouldn't ask them questions or even look them in the eye. It's a self-corrupting, self-perpetuating cycle. Despite this though, Jennifer Lopez is too big to fail, and whatever stories come out in the future, it's really hard to imagine her losing her fame. But that same pattern, the brand saying one thing, the behavior saying another, has destroyed people who weren't quite as untouchable. Like Lizzo, her entire brand was body positivity, self-love, radical acceptance. Then in 2023, 3 of her former dancers sued her for sexual harassment, weight shaming, and creating a hostile work environment. They alleged she pressured them to interact with nude performers at a club in Amsterdam, leading chants goading one dancer who repeatedly said, "I'm good." She was also accused of calling attention to a dancer's weight gain by the woman who built her career on celebrating bigger bodies. The body positivity queen accused of body shaming. As for other off-camera celebrity mask slip incidents, Ellen, James Corden, and Jimmy Fallon all mastered it by creating sour, toxic atmospheres around their fake, always smiling brands. Ellen's former employees described a workplace where she'd switch off the warmth the instant the camera stopped rolling.
About Ellen now.
James Corden followed the same trajectory. Massively popular in the UK, moved to the US and got a second shot with a whole new audience. And the same stories followed him across the Atlantic. A restaurant owner called him a tiny cretin of a man after he screamed at staff over an omelette. Corden denied it, then only apologized after the post went viral, a detail that wasn't lost on anyone.
Do you guys see
Then
the video?
there's Jimmy Fallon, the most harmless man on American television. In September 2023, Rolling Stone then published a piece based on interviews with 16 current and former Tonight Show staffers. They talked about good Jimmy days and bad Jimmy days. On the bad days, one staffer said, "Everyone's day is f***ed. People wouldn't joke around in the office. It was very much like, focus on whatever you have to do because Jimmy's in a bad mood, and if he sees that, he might fly off." 3 different talk shows, 3 different hosts, 3...
I mean, with that, like, with Jimmy Fallon, it's like, again, you can't have a good day every day, and I know that doesn't justify talking to people in a certain way, but like, if you have a boss at work that needs to meet a quota, there are going to be days, maybe, where he's like, look, pull your finger out and fucking get it done because you're mucking around. You know what I mean? You can't joke around in the office. Cool. But it's like, yeah, you're doing just a little bit too much joking. Can we get the work done? You know, if people are falling behind, maybe that needs a little bit of that. But not, you know, I'm not justifying it. I'm just, again, it's like good Jimmy days, bad Jimmy days. You know, what's the ratio of that? 6 good days and 1 bad, or 20 good days, 1 bad, or is it 20 bad days, 1 good? We don't know, but you know, maybe if you pull your finger out, you won't get angry. I'm not justifying it, I promise. I haven't witnessed it myself, I said this!
Nicest person on television reputations. 3 toxic workplaces, all exposed by the people who actually had to work in them. And speaking of which, the UK has had plenty of their own brand of nice celebrities too. You might have already heard how a quite frankly disturbing quantity of British TV personalities have been ousted from public life due to their inappropriate relationships with minors. For 20 years, Philip Schofield was the most trusted face on British daytime television. Every weekday morning there he was on the talk show This Morning, representing himself as the guy the nation had their first cup of tea with. In February 2020, thousands raised their eyebrows over breakfast as he came out as gay live on the show. With that said, he didn't actually come out as gay himself. His co-host Holly Willoughby did it for him as she held his hand and praised his bravery.
We sit here every day, and I'm over there, and some amazingly brave, incredible person is sitting here, and I'm listening to their story and thinking, oh my God, you're so brave, oh my God, you're so brave. And I'm thinking, I have to be that person. I have to be that person.
Whatever happens in the future, I'll be sat by your side, either here, in fact, come and sit here now, where you should be, because it feels too weird, and I'll be by your side forever.
It immediately struck a nerve with ordinary people who pointed out that he'd been married for 27 years and had 2 children. So, in what was about to come a very British scandal, he was being celebrated for having an affair. All things told, the whole incident was pretty bizarre and a total miscalibration by whoever planned it. The top comment says it all. Imagine being applauded as brave at having an affair on your wife. Absolutely insane. How weird that she read it out. Couldn't he do it himself? If you tuned in a moment late, you'd think Holly was telling us she was gay. Then 3 years later, the rest of it came out, and you could see why they tried to carefully manage the situation ahead of the fact. As it turned out, he'd been in a relationship with a junior colleague, a runner on the show who was 15 at the moment they met. He'd helped him get work experience, then a job, and then it became something else, and he lied about it for years. When it did finally surface, the dominoes fell as his agency of 35 years dropped him. him. The Prince's Trust charity cut ties, and he resigned from television. Holly stopped speaking to him despite her promise that quickly aged like milk. His persona then dissolved over weeks in excruciating detail, and what was underneath was a man who'd spent decades cultivating an image of trustworthiness that he'd then used as a cover. Schofield, like other British celebrities who committed similar acts like the once legendary BBC newsreader Hugh Edwards, essentially got away with the worst of it. It didn't help his case when his brother Timothy was convicted of 11 offences against a child, starting when the victim was just 13. He even returned to other TV programmes like Castaway, where they maroon people on a desert island, where he admitted to the whole thing being scripted. Plus, he showed no accountability for his own actions being the problem, instead scapegoating his brother for his own demise.
I'm afraid you've been let go from this morning. What? Yeah, that's it. It's done. You're not going back on Monday. That has nothing to do with me. Why would I be sacked for something that somebody else did? And I agreed to say that I'd resigned because it would be neater for everybody.
Family and fame have often not mixed well together, as illustrated most ironically by Will Smith slapping Chris Rock.
Did you see this? How this was all staged? Did you guys see the conspiracy? You guys into conspiracy? I don't know. I saw a video that this was actually from a film back in like the 40s or something, and this was all just a massive masquerade, if that's the correct terminology, and it was all just a show. Like it was word by word from the film. Just look into it.
Rock for his Jada joke.
Oh, wow!
But that story, like all of these stories, isn't really about
I always thought it was weird when this happened.
one person making one mistake. It's about the distance
I always thought that
between
this was weird when that
expectation and
happened,
reality, and
it
how
looked
gaping that
so
void
staged.
becomes with fame.
And I said that, I was like,
Sometimes
"Was that a
it isn't
joke?" And
intrinsic
everyone was
to
like,
the
"No,
individual
no, that
at
was
all.
real, that
It
actually
develops
happened."
from the scenario celebrity life subjects you to.
off.
The psychologist Robert Millman coined a term for this: acquired situational narcissism. His argument was that fame doesn't just attract narcissists, but creates them. When everyone around you is paid to agree with you, when nobody tells you no, when crowds lose their minds at the sight of your face, it changes how you see yourself and how you see everyone else. Behind the scenes of our TV and media universe, there's an entire class of people who got so used to being told yes that they forgot what no sounds like. They stopped seeing waiters as people, they stopped seeing fans as people. They started treating kindness as something they perform for cameras and switch off the moment the red light goes out. The true point isn't why some celebrities turn nasty, it's whether fame itself does this to people or whether it just reveals who they always were. The truth is probably somewhere in between. Fame doesn't just create the ego, but it feeds it until it's unrecognizable. And that's the transition. It's not that celebrities have gotten worse, they've probably always been like this. It's just that the tools we have to see through the performance have gotten infinitely better. After all, everyone has another side they don't necessarily want people to see, but the responsibilities and privileges that come with fame have created some seriously mutated versions of something otherwise quite natural. One tweet, one restaurant owner's Instagram post, one ex-girlfriend's screenshot, and decades of image management evaporate overnight.
I think some people are just fed up. Some people are just sick to death of it. Like, in terms of celebrities, like, again, going back to Shia LaBeouf, like, just leave me alone, man. Like, yeah, I'm an actor, cool, but I don't want you in my face 24/7. Like, with all respect, have you seen some fans of these celebrities? They are relentless. And then the press as well. And I know people say, well, you chose that career. It's like, I just, you know, if those people wanted to perform, to make people feel, to tell story, yeah, cool. I mean, they didn't all expect that it was going to be like that. But again, good days and bad days. But I think some people are just at the end where they're like, oh, just leave me alone. And when they say that, it's like, oh my God, they're a bad person. Not justifying it. Not justifying everyone. Not everyone's actions, of course.
Stories prove that celebrities can no longer pull the wool over anyone's eyes. With social media, the barrier between them and the audience has faded. While that might have lots of bad implications in other parasocial ways, it has also made it a lot harder for them to hide who they really are.
Of course. Of course. You can't hide. It's impossible. You cannot hide. And if you try, like I said, it can only last a year, 2 years, 5 years. You go on a podcast, I think it was Matt Damon, Ben Affleck went on to Joe Rogan, and they were talking about this. Like, you can't hide. You go into a podcast for 2 hours and your intentions will come out. You will be able to see, we will be able to see what you like. Anyway, let me know your comments below. What do you think of this video? And thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.